Howdy, Jonathan, and thank you for commenting on my tweet and requesting a review for ScreenMemory. I looked at your profile and some of your past tweets recently. What do we call them now? Tweets? Posts? I don't know. So I got an idea of what you were already working on, and then I checked out your ScreenMemory website. So I went ahead, I did a little bit more behind the scenes work before starting this recording, just to get an idea of what's going on with your app, what you're offering, and then looking at some comparisons. And I already put together some notes that I will review here. So let's go ahead and hop into it and get to it. So looking at your website, ScreenMemory app, record and search your screen. By now, your screen yesterday at 6:20, you were reading your email. And then here's a screenshot of what I assume is the app, and then a blurry image. Controls to go through your screen history by date and time. What does it do? Text, why would I want it? Okay, some images, but I can't tell what they are, and I can't see them well enough, and I can't make them larger. So that stuck out to me. And then, okay, use case 0, recap your day. Use case 0. What are we? An array? It's got to be like some kind of developer joke. The code I wrote disappeared. Okay, so I read through these already, so I get what you're going for. I do like having use cases as a landing page. But I think these might be too personal on your behalf and too much, trying to relay too much information. There's an easier way to handle use cases. We'll talk about that in a moment. Requirements, okay. Pricing, free, $19. Privacy, I have read this, and that's definitely that's going to be top tier information that you want people to know, that this is a privacy first app. It's all stored locally. I know that's becoming more and more of a concern for people as AI is being included in a lot of apps. So I'd like to know more about the text processing and what is being used, like how that works, and what tool is being used for the text processing. Because I know you're taking screenshots, and I haven't actually used the app yet. But I didn't quite understand how text processing would work unless you're maybe reading OCR reading the text possibly, which would be really cool. Okay, so this is a good start. I think you're still at the very beginning of your landing page website. And that's why I really didn't get off into the app at all yet, because you have a lot to work on here on the landing page, explaining your product and making that connection and making the sale. I do have a good understanding of what your app does. I've used some similar tools before. Most recently, rewind.ai. So I'll show that in a moment. But I also use, it doesn't take screenshots, but I use this other tool called Clean. And I don't even know who made it or where it came from, because I can't find it on the internet anymore. But basically every image or file or screenshot I take and lands on my desktop, Clean grabs them all each day at a certain time, 7 p.m., and puts them in a folder stashed away. So here's an example. I just went through it. And so I actually use this, so it actually puts it in documents, a folder called desktop, and then it sorts them by day. And then after like a whole year, I make a year folder, and I put all those in there. And so it kind of gives me that same recall memory aspect that you're talking about, but really only for files. So I can go back and I can see, oh, I screenshotted that and I had these, but it keeps my desktop clean, and it organizes my history in some ways. So I can always go back and find something that I had previously worked on, or something I had videoed. or just a reminder. Like, that's kind of how I use it. So this definitely piqued my interest when I saw ScreenMemory. Now, just a few things off the bat. There are ways to structure a landing page that are considered traditional landing pages, and like the messaging and the content and stuff that you want to hit on. So I'm gonna cover a lot of that. Just looking at your site here, like the first thing that hits me is, okay, we're jumping into a visual of the tool. Cool. Why is this blurred out? I'd rather see, if I'm going to see like a demo and some screenshots and stuff, I want to see an idea of real screens. So don't blur your demo images out. Controls. Now, this made me think immediately, this would be a fantastic spot or feature to either have a demo video showing this or a live embedded demo. So if this was a live embedded demo, I could actually grab this little target point and drag it back and forth throughout the day. I could hit these arrows. I could, jump back and forth and see the images changing. Like, that would be killer and clearly demonstrate your demo. Another thing that kind of stuck out to me really quickly, 1620. So you're probably not in the US. And maybe just to solve that confusion for people who are in the US or other places that have 12 and 12 days split by the morning and evening, maybe just use a time that is at 10:15 or something like that, so that you don't even have to consider that aspect of the marketing. So let's go ahead and hop over. So the first thing I did was, I screenshotted your website and I put it into Figma just so I can look at it and take some notes. Now, this is what I've put together, and so it's a number of things. It's looking at your current site. Let's just hide that. What's here? An outline that I like to follow when designing landing pages and covering the content and the topics that are essential. Me using some pre-created elements and components and sections to lay out the idea of what I think is the ideal landing page, and then some more sections and other notes that and examples that play into that. We'll get into pricing in a moment. And then over here, I put in a couple of competitors, and they're not exact competitors, but I think you can get some ideas from them. So here's the competition. Like I mentioned Rewind AI. So I tried that out for a little bit, but I think you can get some good text copy and examples for what you should do from Rewind AI. Now, and the second one is Hustle. So I use Hustle as well occasionally, but it's not running constantly every day all the time. I only turn it on sometimes when I'm designing. And what it actually does is take many screenshots, but it's more like a time lapse. And so if I turn it on while I'm starting a project in Figma and I work for an hour, and then it's taking all these snapshots throughout that hour, well, then it creates a little GIF for me, a speed through GIF, to show that workflow, and it's pretty cool. So it's different than what you're doing, but I put it here because I like how very specific Hustle is. So it's not trying to do a whole lot of different things or functions. It has a very specific use, and I think and for a small tool, and I think that might be what you're going for and would also benefit what your product. Versus Rewind, it's trying to become a very big product. It's integrated with AI. They're talking about physical pendant products that people can wear and stuff like that. And while it's really cool, like I said, that a lot of people are concerned about AI, where their data is going, what's processing their data. And so while I think some people would like to go rewind, they might want to get that kind of functionality of the daily snapshots of a screen without going full blown rewind AI and everything else that they're doing. And so that's the niche that you need to fit into. You're not, so you're not creating this huge monster app or product. You're creating a very specific hustle app niche style, but for screen snapshots. Okay, so let's take a look at my typical outline for what a landing page needs. And I've spent time developing this myself, learning from others, taking what they know and combining it all. And this is what I go for. So we have the two sections, above the fold and below the fold. And I kind of got this concept from Harry Dry at Marketing Examples. So you can check out his stuff. He writes in depth on the hero section and above the fold specifically. So that's anything that you see immediately when you land on your website. So that's, and these are the things that you really want to have. You want to have a headline, subtext, a visual, social proof, and a CTA. So when I land here, I want to be able to see those 5 elements. So let's take a look at this hero section that I pulled from Untitled UI, which is a UI kit. Here we have a headline, subtext, a CTA, a visual, and we don't have any social proof per se here, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. This is one that I designed previously for someone, and it follows the same setup. So a headline, subtext, CTA, and an image. It was larger, but here's another one. So let me actually put a background on that. That's gonna make it easier to see. There we go. So this is from a website called YNAB, and I was actually tweaking on it because I was going to send them some notes. But headline, subtext, CTA, and then I dropped in this screenshot because you'll see this a lot of times where I think if a business or product has a lot of customers and a lot of really good reviews, this is a good way to speak to that immediately on the landing page. So let's go beyond that. Below the fold, logo farm, testimonials, product demo, features and objections, use cases, more social proof, FAQs, pricing, second CTA, and a founder's note. That's a lot. And it's not all necessary to start out. What you have, that's all you need to start. But you can start building and cultivating this type of content and adding it as you grow and as you go. So let's walk through that in this example, section by section, and I want you to think about this setup and how you can incorporate that into your landing page and pitch page. Now, one thing I'll note. I inspected the code quickly, so I see that I think you wrote all the code custom, and that's great. Now, what I would suggest, you're a developer, and so you want to focus on either developing your product or marketing your product. So don't get hung up in design. The best thing to do is to find some sort of kit that you can use to develop your website and landing page and your style and your UI. So whether that's using Webflow or Framer or WordPress or a landing page kit, UI kit, whatever you do, you need to do, or pick something that you can use that comes with predefined UI. It's easy to modify to make it look like what you want it to look like as far as colors and whatnot, and just keep it really simple and use that kit. So like Untitled UI, here's an example. So I think there's a Webflow kit for this as well. But this is the Figma file for Untitled UI. If I look at it, it comes with tons of examples, like not just for components and sections. So I can go to CTA sections, and it's such a big file, it can be slow sometimes. Oh, here it is. And so there's already all these predefined sections that I can use. Well, they also put together pages that I can use. So look at this landing pages. Look how many example landing pages are already created using all of the components and sections inside of this UI kit. So that's a fast way, and I just grabbed some of these and put them in what we're looking at right now. So this is a fast way to scaffold out your website. And don't get hung up on design, really don't. Like, make sure it looks good because you're using a good UI kit, but it doesn't have to be the most unique brand in the world right now. So here's the hero element that is at the top of the page. So this is where you're going to start out. Now, a couple of things to note that I like to see. So your product is a little bit different because it's a downloadable application. That can be tricky, in my opinion, because you want to get, they have to download the app and install it to be able to use the product. And so that's a barrier to entry and can be a challenge. Now they need some sort of account, most likely, where they have to sign up or create an account through the web app or through the downloaded app. So there's a challenge there for what you want, the one action you want people to take here. So it might be get started today. If you have a web app, like, that's much easier. Or if you have a downloadable, it might be download the app. Or if you have a mobile app, then it's going to be something different. It's going to be let's look at these landing pages. It's going to be taking you to the App Store, probably. So here we go. Look at that. Or you're going to be trying to capture a phone number or an email address. So that's the challenge that you have to deal with in this use case as well. Do you want to have some kind of get started button, or do you want them to download the app immediately? Now, what I noticed that Rewind did, and this might be the best way to go, is capture your email. So you're getting that information, and download will begin after you submit your email address. So that might be a good way to go for you. Instead of just having a direct download or having to send them through an onboarding process on the web for creating an account, capture their email, and then start the download automatically, or send them an email where they have to click a button inside of the email to start the download. Now, sending the email, you can, that's probably going to prevent some spam maybe, and get a better confirmation that these people are downloading it purposely and maybe installing it, hopefully. I know that there's going to be a drop off at each step. But if you enter their email, you capture that, and the download starts immediately, you're going to definitely get that to download onto their machine. And then you can send a getting started email as well. So think about that and the best way to handle that initial onboarding. And you might have to experiment a little bit. Now, another thing that you want to do with your primary CTA is handle any objections up front. So what's preventing somebody from getting started? Well, it might be the fact that they have to download an app, and that's kind of scary on the internet. It might be the fact that they want to try it out, but they don't really want to pay right now, or they definitely don't want to put in a credit card just for the 7-day free trial. So you can counter whatever your objection is. So for you, it might be free plan available. So there's not much commitment in that case. Like, they don't have to make a decision right now that they want to pay for your product. And if you have a free plan available, no credit card required to start. Now that really takes the barriers away, at least in my mind, for trying something out. Now, the downloading the app, that's still a difficult sell a lot of times. But this is a good first start if you have a free tier and you don't require a credit card to get started. And you'll see a lot of other ways that people handle that. So investigate that. If you go for one primary CTA on your entire landing page, so that's probably a getting started or something. So I would probably just say, like, you could have a secondary button, but I would not do that immediately. Get rid of that unless there's a really good reason. Like this app, I think they needed it because there's a lot of hand holding at the beginning for YNAB, and that's probably how they probably make a ton of their sales after webinars. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit. We're at 21 minutes. So after Hero, we go into a little bit of social proof. So if you have the ability to have logos, everybody loves to see a logo farm. Now, there's a couple of ways to get logos. One, it's clients or customers that use your product or service. Or two, it's press and reviews. So if you end up getting featured, that's probably going to be the better way for you because you're going to want more testimonials directly from your customers. Now, maybe they will have, because when it comes to logos, you really want logos that are recognizable. So however you can get the most recognizable logos is best. If it ends up being, it's only based on the testimonials that you get for, this person that works at this company or the founder or an indie hacker and their company name, then go with those logos. But if you end up getting some press coverage or something, then you want to use those. So for example, here's Hustle. Let's see what they have. So they got a bunch of good press throughout the years. And so that's used by cool people so used by these people that work at these companies. That's one way to do it. Featured in press, ratings on Product Hunt, and a quote from a magazine or a web article. So that's 4 different ways that you can actually use. That's a really good example of using social proof. The next, outside of logos and that type and press, is personal testimonials. And this is possibly the most important feature that you need on your website right now. So you need testimonials. In this section, I recommend 2 to 3, at least 2, at minimum 3 is better. So here's an example. So you want good testimonials that talk about the problem that they have, the goal that they're going for, and how your product is the solution. Having this is like my default setup, a star rating, that quote text, the first name, the last name, or the last initial, their role at company, link to that company, their profile photo, if you can get that, and then if it makes sense, their company logo as well. That's the ideal testimonial, in my opinion. And then show 3 of those. So we're gonna talk about social proof and testimonials a couple of times. At the top, we want to have like 3 really great testimonials that stand out. And then down at the bottom or further down the page, we want to have more testimonials if we have them. And that's something that you need to start cultivating immediately. So anyone that uses your product, you want to try to get a testimonial from them. And at the beginning, you're probably going to be getting your first 10, 50, 100 customers more manually. So it might be more of a hand-holding and white glove service for your first 10 to 50 users. And so you want to get testimonials from those people, even if it's your family and your friends. If you have, or you have to give it to them for free. Once you start having testimonials, it's going to help out a lot. So my three magic numbers for testimonials, I would say, are 3. So you need at least 3 so that you can show 3 up here. And then 7 and 12, because I think you can show, look, I'm showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 definitively here. So that would be nice to have 7 or 9 that you can show here on the same landing page or your home page. And then 12 or more, because once you get to that, you can have a separate testimonials page with all of them. And so people will see this. There's like, oh, there's more than 9 testimonials. I can see some. I hit show more. It takes me to a testimonials page with 50, at least 12, 15, 30, 50 testimonials, all the testimonials that I've gathered about the product. So that's really what you want to go for testimonials. So get some testimonials, even if it's from your brother, your mother, or your best friend. What I like to see after these 2 social proof sections is a demo of some sort. Get me right into it with some action. So that might be a demo video of you showcasing the product, or an embedded demo that you can interact with. Like I mentioned previously, we're already at 26 minutes. I was trying to make this less than 30 minutes. We will see if I can make that happen. So let's keep going. So try the demo. So if you can embed a demo of your product here, or a fake demo, it might not be it's not the actual software that people are installing on their computer, but you can create a web app experience right here. That's just a dummy version of it. I mean, you're almost to the point where you can sell them on the product. You're probably like 90% of the way at that point, because it's going to make so much more sense when they can see it in action and experience it for themselves. Let's keep going. So after the demo, we want to talk about the features and the benefits, and counter any objections. So that, I'm not going to talk about the layout and how to do that, but come up with what those are. And there's a number of ways that people like to lay that out and design it. It might be like this Z pattern, zigzagging back and forth. It might be a grid pattern. And you can get that from a lot of UI kits that are already set up to show that. So this is one style. This is another. I think I stole this idea from Notion. They have something very similar to this. Actually, just like this. I stole it from them. Yeah. And then here's one that I saw on Rewind AI. So those are, just a few ideas of how to show features, benefits, and counter objections. What I like to see also after that is a short section about who this is right for, and the use cases. So this is one that I was writing for my own design audit service. So who is this right for? Well, this is too many, really, and I know that. But so I broke it down into 3 sections, and then I listed each of those. You are a entrepreneur, indie hacker, product owner, developer. Your product is a SaaS product, e-commerce, professional. You need more sales, higher conversions. So that's one way. Or it might just be like, who is this best for? It's for designers. It's for developers. It's for productivity gurus. It's for sales, and it's for managers. Or like this is the one from Rewind. They actually have individual pages for each of their target audience types. Use cases: executives, engineering, sales, and people with ADHD. So I thought that one was funny, ADHD. But you could make that super simple, or you could blow it up with more personas. But something, just the short line about that, because what you want is when people are scrolling down, they see something, they're like, that's me. And they fit that mold, and it speaks to them. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. I don't think I have. People are important. When people see a product page, and they're reading the content, and and it's a SaaS app or it's software or whatever it is. They want to see that there are real people using this product and real people behind the product. So that's why one reason testimonials are useful, and if you can use their profile pics, that's even better. That's another reason why you want to let people who know who you are, that you're a real person, that you're not a scammer on the internet, that you're not taking their money and running, and that they know who you are. They can find you elsewhere on Twitter or X or anywhere else, Product Hunt, whatever. But they also want to see instances of real people. So one way that I indicated that over here is, let's say you were putting in a demo video or the embedded demo product with screenshots. So I put in, you could just have screenshots of me using Figma, or me opening up my Finder folder, or me using the internet and being on Twitter or YouTube. But something like this would indicate, hey, this is interesting. So it's screenshotting while I'm on a video conference call with someone, with a group. And so this can show when I need to remember, like, hey, I was on that call, but who else was there? Was Zach from accounting there or not? Well, I can reference back to this point at that video call. No, he's not on there. And so that's one way that you can get people's faces in here as well. Another good way, I think, would be like YouTube. I mean, I'm not saying that watching Mr. Beast is going to help me with my business stuff every day, or I'm going to be referencing what Mr. Beast video I showed, but I could have a screenshot while using this product that happens to capture a Mr. Beast face while I'm watching one of the Mr. Beast videos. And then that would show up on your homepage, landing page. So just a consideration. So testimonials, I talked about testimonials already. Frequently asked questions. This is where you get to write in long form about all the other things, and some of the stuff you've already said, and all the other things that are harder to say or that people will be asking. And it's really not that difficult to come up with FAQs. And if you need help, just look at other products, other SaaS products, and see what FAQs they're addressing. Because there's going to be FAQs that you need to address about customer support, devices, payments, returns, refunds, hardware requirements. So there's going to be a lot of FAQs that can and need to be addressed. Privacy that you'll want to take into account. Now, you got to have more than 3 FAQs on your landing page, because that just means that you're not really investing the time in thinking about it and understanding your product and your customer. So I would shoot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That makes sense. 7 to 12. 12 is probably on the high side. If you start getting towards 12 FAQs, either review all of them and see what you can cut or combine, or if you really are that far along in the product scope, then create a dedicated FAQ page and link out to that from here. So put the most important 7 to 9 FAQs here. If there are more, link over to a dedicated FAQ page. Pricing. This is important. Okay, so the next sections, let me just hit those and then we'll come back to pricing. Pricing, a second CTA that reiterates what you said at the top of the page, so that you're calling them one more time. And then a personal note. So you're an indie developer, you're building in public, and and this is a small product. You're not some faceless company like Adobe where you don't know who the people are. You don't know who's working on it. There's 1,000 people, 10,000 people. I don't know. You're an individual and you are developing this out of passion and purpose, and because you love it and you want to use it, and you know other people want to as well. So put a personal touch on it. People know who you are. People can find you elsewhere on the internet, so you get that validity that you're a real person, like I mentioned, and not a scammer. This is just the most basic setup that you could do. Hi, I'm my name, and then write a little bit about who you are, why you're doing this, and what you hope to offer customers. I liked this one a lot from a designer that I like a lot, Matt D. Smith, for his product shift nudge. Thought that was really cool and incredibly simple. And then here he is elsewhere. He's linking out to who he is, what else he does. He's really well known. He's a real person. So I think that's going to help you out as well, just to remove that question of who is this by? I don't know. I'm downloading an app by them, an installable file. It's taking screenshots of everything I do. So take that into account. Now, pricing and plans. Currently, you have a free tier and a $19 one, which is a one-time payment from what I read on Twitter. It's not completely clear here, but let's talk about that and how to, one, optimize your pricing and plan tiers, or optimize your tiers, optimize the pricing, don't leave any money on the table, and get started. So you have a personal product that you're selling. So this isn't really going to be a tool that businesses buy, like for 10 different people, for multiple licenses. So you don't have to think about that. I don't think this is going to be any kind of business tool or team tool. It's going to be individuals choosing that they want this product. So when there is that business enterprise side of a tool, I like to see something like 3 tiers. So like personal basic, personal pro, and then enterprise. Now, you have 2 tiers right now, free and paid. I think what you can do right now, this early in the game, even for a little while, is add a 3rd tier. And so because you're already talking about how you're trying to discover what the price stuff. So I think you need a 3rd tier right now. You need a free tier, which is the most basic. So basic. You need a pro tier, which is a yearly charge. Even if you want to call it, maybe you want to do the whole monthly and yearly thing, but it's going to be billed yearly. So you could do that, and you could cut it down to $1 a month, $2 a month, or whatever. But they have to pay yearly either way. And then I think you could do a lifetime deal, and that could be open and available always. It could be like they could say, yeah, I'll pay $19 for this year. And then it's recurring yearly, or they could say $69 or $70 or $80. That might be worth it just to go ahead and buy the lifetime deal, and I never have to pay again. What I think you need to do is do a little bit of math on this to see how much capital you could bring in by offering a lifetime deal, and compared to your yearly pro plan. So for instance, like there could be a time countdown for this, right? This is supposed to be a sand timer. What is it called? I don't know. So it might end in, January 31st, 24. So you have, a 36 day countdown right now for this lifetime deal. Let's change it to 99. Or it might be just a certain number of people can buy it. So for the first 100 customers, they get this $99 lifetime deal. This, we don't know how many people are going to buy it before this date. So that's a little bit of an unknown times 99. We can hope that it's a lot, so you could end up getting 10, you could get 50, you could get 100, or you could get 1,000. And that would be freaking amazing if you got 1,000 people to buy this for $99 before the end of the date. Now, it might be kind of more difficult to do that. So you might have something like a $100 customer limit for this price. And so, what's cool about that? Well, 100 times 99 is 9,900. $9,900. That would be sweet. So if you could get the hype up on this product coming out and being very interesting, you could possibly drive some of that hype into this lifetime plan that's limited availability lifetime plan. So maybe, and maybe you always sell a lifetime plan. You always have a yearly, you always have a lifetime plan, and maybe the lifetime plan is always $99. But right now, for the first 100 customers, it's $50. So right now, for the first 100 customers, it's $50 for a lifetime plan. Now, 50 times 99 is, half of this. So 4,750-ish. That's still a really good upfront deal, upfront capital for you. That could help you develop this more, take some time off from work or whatever, and really focus on this product. That might be something even better. Like, you always have a free plan, you always have a yearly plan, and you always have a lifetime plan. So I think you need to consider it. What could you do? Now, I also started rewriting some of the features for each plan. So basic, and this is mostly following what you have. So capture one screen, see only today's history. And then you have capture multiple, unlimited history, text search, high res, all these other things. So I think there's a number of ways you could display that. Is one, you could show only what the plan absolutely comes with. And that might be all you need to do if you're doing these cards, until you get to something that you need a lot more. You have a lot more features that you need to talk about. And I really like what Rewind is doing here. They only have 2, free and pro. And so then they have like these breakdowns for each of their features and which ones have it and which ones are limited or don't have it. Actually, that's pretty cool. Hover, I've seen that a few times. So you could do that as well. Some kind of breakdown. And the only reason I say that, it's like, here's the cards with the pricing and get started, and then here's the feature breakdown below it, is if you have, sometimes that's an easier way to manage that much stuff. Have the table, a deep table of content down below, and just the top level features up here. If you don't have that many features, this can be kind of nice sometimes, is you have the ones that are highlighted for that tier, and then have these that are grayed out because they're not available. So I also connected these horizontally. So free, available on one device. Now that should probably be highlighted. And then pro, I should probably say available on, that's what it should say, unlimited devices. Capture one monitor screen, capture all monitor screens, image history search, image history saved to local folder, image history saved to local folder, that's the same. History searchable in-app. Actually, I meant that's not available on this one. History searchable in-app. So like this one, the only way to go through the history is to do what I was doing here with that clean tool that I mentioned. downloads, no documents, desktop. Give me those columns, sweet columns. So this is the only way to go through it. Whereas if I'm on your pro plan, now I can use that in-app search capability. High resolution, no high resolution, no text search, blacklist, text search. You list out all the features that it comes with. Lifetime is going to probably be basically the same thing. Maybe there's something else that they can get, but that's kind of what I was thinking for the pricing. So give that a thought. Okay, now this video went a lot longer than I anticipated and meant for it to go. Typical for me. Okay, so I know I gave you like some ideas and directions that you can think about, maybe ponder on those. I think that's what you really need right now. And then definitely find some sort of tool or UI kit or landing page builder so that you don't have to think about the design side of things. Check out the competition that I mentioned and think about the structure of your page. Besides that, you need to get some customers, because I don't know how many people are already using it. Maybe you already have some you can talk to and have them give you some testimonials, get some feedback. But I like what you're working on. I would definitely use this because, like I said, I used Rewind. I actually got rid of it because I couldn't tell if it was affecting my computer's performance or not. It records a lot of stuff, records audio. Actually, that's why I got rid of it, was the audio. The audio kept getting jacked up between my microphone and my headphones and the Rewind auto record. So that was annoying me a lot. And that was one of the reasons I got rid of Rewind. But also, it does a lot. And I think it did too much for what I really wanted. Like, I like clean because it cleans up my desktop and my files and stashes them away for me. I'd like something like that where like ScreenMemory, where I can just go back through the history and I can kind of see those at a glance views of my days and find important information. I think ScreenMemory is a little bit of a not the easiest on the tongue, but not bad either. Like it's not the most important thing. Logo, design, even the name of your product, not the most important thing. And I'm a designer, and I'm saying that. So go with what you got for now, and maybe something else comes up another time. But I like it. I like this idea. I will be a user, and I'd love to see. Let me know when you make changes. I'd love to see them. I'd love to talk about it more. And so looking forward to it. Hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you another time.